Everyone, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Richie. This is Six String Fun. Again, happy 2024. We're about a week and a half into the new year. This year so far, only a couple days, but last year I did a lot of reflecting on just anything I possibly could. And over that time, I really thought a lot about just when I started to play guitar. I started playing in the second grade. I gave it up for quite a while. I picked it up again sophomore year of college. So you do the math there. And I just turned 51 last week. So you're talking maybe, almost 30 years now that I've really been at it steady. And I've learned a lot over the years. And also you kind of think about the things, well, I probably could have done this or should have done this. And back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have the videos you can go to YouTube and people you can kind of just check in on. So a lot of it I had to do on my own. And you start thinking about it, and there's 10 plus things I want to go over. The last one, most important, because I think it hits home with everybody. So we'll wrap it up with that. But everything else, it kind of, it's not a top 10. It just kind of all works together. But that last one really means a lot, I think, to a lot of us. So I wanted to share with you what I think I could have, should have done better, or at least kind of, even, not that I did anything wrong, but just thinking about it now, I kind of just wish I had that guidance in certain areas. So we'll go over it. I mean, let's see what you think. I mean, are you experiencing this? And a lot of them are very, very simple and basic, but you're not thinking of it when you're right in the middle of learning something for the very first time. So let's kind of just dive back in, not back into it, but into it, and we'll go one by one and see what you think. All right. And again, no special order here. Just how I kind of, in my head, I wrote it down. But that last one, I think probably is the most important one, at least for me, especially if you're my age, and depending how much you put into the guitar. So let's start. Again, not that this is number one, but something to keep in mind in the back of your head the whole time. You are you. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to play a chord because somebody else is playing a chord a special way. Learn it and then do it how you feel is best. You're not in this to, at least in my opinion, at least when you're starting out, play something note for note. If you're learning a chord, just learn the basics. Okay? Learning a scale, just learn the basics. And then from there, you can tailor things as you go along, all right? So let's start with that. That'd be our one to kick this thing off with, okay? Start with that. This is going to sound super cliche, but it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're picking up the guitar, and in 3 weeks you want to play something by Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. You want to rip through something. Look, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If this is something you really want to get into, you're investing in it. You're investing in your time. You're investing in your instrument. You're investing in a lot of different things. Put the time in, because before you know it, look, I know there's a lot of walls. You're going to hit a lot of roadblocks, but eventually it happened. You break through and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? It happens. Trust me. When you're least expecting it is when it's going to happen. If you're trying too hard, it might take longer. So invest your time, just roll with it. And you don't have to learn a million chords. 3 chords, or whatever it is you want to learn. Just trust me. Put the time in. You're gonna be happy with it. I would say the other thing to possibly do is take some lessons early on. Doesn't have to be a lot of lessons. Doesn't have to be a long period of time. I took lessons early on, right? And then what I did was I bought not even a tab book. It was a chord book, but for Rush, for the first, from the first album to, I want to say, Moving Pictures. Might even been Spirit or Permanent Waves. And I saw Close to the Heart. So I'm like, all right, well, here's the chord. It's an A, it's A sus2, 4. Great. But I didn't learn what it was. I just kind of learned the position. Guitar's out of tune too. But I kind of learned just that. And that really was not beneficial for me. Taking lessons by whether it's a professional instructor, somebody it will help you in terms of just getting you on that right track. Even if you don't stay with them long, at least that initial, hey, what do you want to do? And they get you on that path to where you need to go. That's a big help, I think, for for taking lessons. I mean, I wish I had done it soon. I took lessons and I gave it up, and then I started trying to do everything on my own, because that's when you become aware of guitar tab books and magazines and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the problem was you go from 0 to 60, and you need to know kind of what's in between there, just to have it make sense. So I would say, if you can get a guitar instructor or tutor, something, just to help you guide you in certain areas, because even though you see something in the magazine, and this is my problem, I would see something in a magazine or a book, and then you do it, but you don't really understand it. And I finally had some people just show me these small little things, tiny little things, and everything just opened up like you wouldn't believe. So that would be my next suggestion. Next one is practice every day. It doesn't have to be for hours, half hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes. Just get the fingers going. Play some scales. Just do exercise. It can be anything you want, but just get those fingers moving. Sit even from the TV, just kind of noodle around in front of the TV. I have no idea what I was just playing, but the fingers start moving. As long as your fingers are moving, you'll be fine. So keep that in mind. This was a big one for me. Don't worry about making mistakes. Trust me, they are going to come whether you're practicing, whether you're playing for a gig. You are not going to be perfect. You go back and you listen to some of your favorite artists, find some live music here and there. You're eventually going to find some bum notes somewhere. And it just shows you that they're human too. So you're going to make the mistakes. If you're practicing, you hit a bum note. A couple things you do if you're just practicing. You can stop and go to the beginning. But what if you're playing in a gig? You play the wrong chord. You can't go to the band. Hey guys, hold on. Can we just kind of go back? And you're in the middle of a song. Everyone's watching you. You plow right through it. You go right through that stop sign, and you just keep going as if it didn't happen. And I'm telling you, 90 to 95% of the time, no one even knows that you made a mistake. I don't like soloing. I don't think I'm very good at it. And I make plenty of mistakes when I'm soloing. And I feel it, and you got to make sure you don't have it come across with the facial expression, because I do that too. And you're like, oh my God, I butchered that solo, I did this, I did that. And whether it's guys from the band or people who've been out there to watch and say, my God, that song was amazing, you guys played it great. So even though you make the mistakes, they're not always going to be heard. So keep that in mind. It's going to happen. Roll right with it. Don't worry about it. And as far as playing live for the next one here, don't wait to go to an open mic or to jam with friends in public. I waited a very long time, and I don't know if it helped me or hurt me, but I wish I had done it sooner. Let's put it that way. Going to an open mic is great because people just get up there. Basically, as far as the way it works here for me with open mics, you go to somewhere that's got an open mic night, as an example, and there's a sign-in list, 1 through how many people are signed up, and then when it starts, person number 1, band number 1. It's usually like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of stuff. So maybe it's 2 or 3 songs, and you move on. Usually there's a back line there, unless it's, just kind of something very simple where it's just an acoustic type of night. Don't be afraid to do something. Go there, even if you just go there to check it out and talk to people. And again, this was something that I wish I had experienced early on. I was afraid to ask questions because I looked at it as if I'm asking a question, someone's going to look at me like, dude, how do you not know that? Why you should know that? I mean, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't even be here. And it was just the complete opposite once I started getting into it. People at these open mics, all they want to do is help. They'll go up there and they'll perform. And if they can help somebody else out with a question or whatever it might be, that community is there, which, again, when I started out, there really wasn't the online. I mean, I just kind of was kicking it on, the internet, late 90s, early 2000. You didn't really have that support. So go do it. Ask questions. Trust me, 99% of the people at these events, they are there to help you out. They want to help you out. In a way, sometimes they want to show off in a good way that they can help you out, that they know this stuff. Rely on those people. Lean on them when you have to and when you can. It will make a big difference. All right? And that was kind of the next thing I wanted to go into. There is a community out there. People want to help. Nowadays, you've got our interaction here, through YouTube, through Instagram, whatever it is on the social media platforms, right? You've got that. You can go to the stores. You can go, other social media areas where people are looking for advertisements, ads for, hey, we need this singer, hey, we need to find somebody for this band, we're a new band starting out. Really rely on that online community. It comes in handy when you need it. And depending on where you're located, that community is bigger than some. Like I'm in New Jersey, but I'm right outside of New York City. So I've got North Jersey, New York City. There's plenty of avenues for me to go to if I needed to kind of find some information. So keep that in mind. The online community, I think now is huge. And there's a lot of people out, again, just like you go to an open mic night or whatever it is, there's people there physically to help you out and want to help you. Same thing with this online community. You've got 99% of these folks that want to help you out, and take them up on that. Get that, leverage that to help you down the road. The other big one, today, maybe not today, but just in general, you don't have to know how to read music. Should you be able to? It'd be great. I wish I could. I can figure a few things out, but I went more down the route of guitar tab and having things tabbed out. That is another great way to go because it's still a way to learn how to read notes on a guitar as well as other stringed instruments, right? Basses. Guitar would be 6 lines, basses 4 lines for the most part. But it shows you how to read tab and chords without having to know a music tab. And I think learning the guitar tab piece of it is much easier. So learn that. Again, because you could pick up a magazine, you could pick up a book, you could see somebody who's tabbed something out and understand what it is. And I think it's a basic skill you can learn. Takes some time getting used to, but once you figure it out, a lot more will come together quicker. So keep that in mind. Guitar tab is probably a good way to go, but don't worry about not being able to read music. There have been tons and tons and tons of your favorite artists out there that have no idea how to read music. It's okay. So keep that in mind. Timing. That was a big one. It was, again, learning how to read tab and play songs and, okay, hey, this song basically is, I don't know, I'm going to make something up here. That's the riff of a song. I'm making it up. And you think you know it, but when you play along to the record or the CD, all of a sudden it's a different animal. It's hard to keep up. So practice what you're doing and practice to the songs that you're trying to learn. That'll help, just with your timing. Metronome is good because it kind of just helps you keep time as you're, practicing 1, 2, 3, 4. But play along to the songs you are trying to learn. You'll get to learn those little parts of it that you don't think about unless you're listening to it. You think, hey, this is 4 chords, but it's 4 chords with these little accents here and there. So listen to the music. That'll help you out when you're rehearsing, when you're practicing. Look, you're getting ready to play or audition for a band. You've got to be able to know these songs, right? So you've got to be able to know these songs and play along to those songs because it's no different than playing to the record than playing to a drummer and a bass player because they're going to be keeping the time as well. So when you do that for the first time, it's going to feel like, oh my God, the song is going a million miles an hour. It's really not. You just gotta have to kind of rewire your brain to just know how to play along to those beats, those rhythms that you weren't thinking of before. So keep that in mind. That would be something to definitely do when you're practicing learning, basically. Another one I was telling you about, and it applies to me now, applies to everyone. You are never, ever too old to pick up the guitar for the first time. I don't care what anybody says. You could be my age. Again, I just turned 51. You could be on the north side of that. You could be on the south side of that. When you're picking up a guitar for the first time, the goal isn't to learn every song possible. The goal isn't to play every scale possible. The goal is to have fun. And that's what, again, 6-string fun. That's kind of what I always try to remind people. You can learn 3 chords, maybe 4, maybe 5. And you are set up for a very long time. And what do I mean by that? Learn a G chord, learn a D chord, learn a C. You can learn a C 2 different ways, I think. Okay, let's say those are 3. Learn an E minor. You have those 4 chords down. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of songs that you could play. It's just the way it is. Now, once you get comfortable with those 3 chords, 4 chords, whatever it might be, you could always use a capo to move things around. And a capo is kind of, again, here's an open G chord. But if I put this on the 3rd fret, I'm still playing the same shape, but the key is different. That's actually a B flat, as opposed to just a G. And if you learn those 3 chords, and just to give you an example, if you're a Springsteen fan, you could throw this capo in a couple different areas, and now you've got access to probably 50 to 75% of his catalog that you could probably play. You know, just as an example, you know, Stolen Car by Springsteen, 2 chords, G and a C. Okay, but if I move this over here, because we don't want to go into the bar chords, but if I move it over here, I can play these 3 chords, G, C, G, D, and C, and you can start doing Incident on 57th Street. Forget how it goes, but it's... So, if you're a Springsteen fan, just picture the piano playing that, you know, Spanish Johnny, right? So, basic things like that make all the difference in the world. So, keep that in mind. Again, those are just kind of the ones I came up with. I mean, that last one was more of like a bonus. That's like number 11, but, you know, I'm sure somebody's counting and going to tell me that. So, but, again, for 2024, if you're thinking about it, just pick up the guitar, start playing. Even if you're just kind of doing one finger, one string, one fret at a time. It's worth it because you're going to enjoy it. And I would say as you're learning, learn to play these chords and these notes associated with songs that you like. That's the fun part. When I was growing up, I'm learning these scales and I'm learning these songs. I didn't even know what these songs were. I wish I had my book from way back when. And that's why I gave it up in the 2nd grade. It wasn't fun. So I hope this helped you out. Again, don't think too much about it. If you're going to do it, get out there. Start playing. You have tons of resources out there. Look, I'd love to just kind of push my stuff and hey, this is the place to be. There are other people out there that do a fantastic job showing you how to play and enjoy it. So take a little from column A, a little from column B, here and there, shake it up. It's all about you. Make it what you want it to be, and I guarantee you're going to have much more fun doing it that way, okay? So thank you for sticking around. I hope this helped you out. I will see you on the next video. Happy 2024. Later.